I met Dr. Syed because as I was turning 24, I was on my way up to a weight that my scale at home would not weigh me anymore. It stopped at like 275. And it had been a while since I had been able to weigh myself. Well, I had developed this condition called hyperhidrosis, which is excessive sweating in the forehead. The only way to really kill that is to have Botox. So I Googled the first, name that came across, and Medical Spa of Midland was the most acclaimed and esteemed and had no bad reviews. So that's where I decided to go. I filled out all the questions. I talked to the nurses. I was in the exam room. I'd taken the pictures and everything that they needed to take. And the nurse said, Dr. Syed doesn't really want to treat you because you're only 24. And I said, well, did y'all explain to him that I'm not having Botox for a vain reason? It's, a medical condition. And so they went and told him. And so he came in and had my consult. He decided that I was a good candidate for the Botox. And so he started treating me with that right around the age of 24. I respected him that he wasn't going to see me in the beginning because ethically he looked at the chart and said a 24-year-old person does not need Botox, and I'm not, money hungry, so I'm not just going to take her money just because she wants to go and have Botox. That was something that I could respect. Over the course of a couple of treatments, I was still gaining weight and still getting bigger, and he mentioned to me one time, he said, you have such a great personality and you're such a fun person, but you're weighed down by all of this weight. Sometimes every other weekend, some of my patients and a few of my staff members, we all do P90X. Maybe you should come and join us sometime. And I just was like, I don't want to do that, but that was very sweet of him. And what he really did was start the internal conversation in my head with, okay, this is not getting better. I'm just getting worse. I'm just kind of putting a Band-Aid over a symptom, but I need to treat the cause. So after, I don't know, I was probably like 25, almost 26, I had asked him about weight loss surgery. He said that he had treated several people that had weight loss surgery and would come to him for consults afterwards for skin removal, liposuction, etc. And so he told me that the most successful surgery that he's seen from his patients that have had a weight loss surgery is the gastric sleeve, not a gastric bypass. At that time, gastric bypass was the most popular and gastric sleeve was fairly new. So I looked into it, I did my research, and that's the surgery that I ended up having, was the sleeve surgery. So I was able to lose well over 200 pounds, and I've maintained it for over 5 years now because Dr. Syed gave me the inspiration and helped me with the research. And then I started going back to him to get filler because I had lost so much weight. I needed, something in my face. So he treated me one time for that. I've brought several people to him for work, and he's had my respect since literally the first time meeting. And I'm an all or nothing type person, so I was all in for him because he had decided that I wasn't a candidate until he actually saw me. And that's how I met him. Well, there's no price that you can put on having an entirely new life. I mean, I would literally just work 4 days and on my 2 days off, just sleep. And I was in a vicious cycle of just this horrible weight that I never knew. But when I did lose all my weight, I, for the first time at 26 years old, actually started living my life. I had been through a lot of things. I had beat homelessness. I had beat an addiction of food. I had beat a lot of things, but I didn't know who I truly was yet. And so learning who I am and how people treat you and the difference that you see in people and the feeling that it gives you really opened up my life. So every single thing that's good, bad, or indifferent that has happened to me since that, I can attribute to Dr. Syed because he's the one that gave me the inspiration to have the conversation with myself that I need to make a life change. I remember asking him too because he had a photograph of like a bigger version of himself and like a regular version of himself in the office. And I didn't know that that was him in the other picture. And I always made a funny remark. I don't even know what it was, but, you know, he just always said, yeah, if I can do it, you can do it too. And so, yeah, I mean, he really did help me honestly get to the person that I am now. The person that I am now is much more confident, has much more zest in life, and I actually found a whole nother side of my personality that I never knew existed. And I'm eternally grateful to him for that. Yeah, because it wasn't like, oh, well, you need to go have this, you need to have this. He said, join us. We're doing this together. It wasn't just like, you're big and you need to fix this and you're the bad one. Like other doctors would say, well, you just need to run or you just need to do this. And nobody said, well, join us. This is how you do it. This is how I've done it. This is how other people are doing it. This is good for you. They just kind of tell you what to do, but not actually lead by example. And so he did. I'm outraged at our justice system, especially in West Texas. I think that we've created a culture. I thought that we had got to a place of that we were doing better. We had elected a black man as our president twice. We were no longer saying it's illegal for someone of color to own property or to serve them or for them to ride on a certain area of a bus. I thought we had gotten over the really, really horrible parts of how racist America's tapestry is made up of. I think with the election of our President Trump, I think it really did bring out a lot of people that were kind of silenced with their racism because we did have a black president. We did have, you know, we were doing better as a nation, and so they didn't. That conversation wasn't as had anymore. And then when President Trump took office, I think it really did open up a lot of people that had been silent for a long time, but felt that way the entire time, and now felt like they had a license to be more expressive and to say such things. There is no way, looking back into all of the things that have happened with that this case should have never even made it past a grand jury. B, that the judge wanted it to stay in her court and not let it go somewhere else, which is, I don't know if that's actually factually true, but that's one of the things that I heard from several other people. They wouldn't let him have it in another county. They wanted to keep it in that county, and she was a female judge. To just the absolute nerve of the prosecution to even want to bring something like this to trial. Like, it's crazy to me. It is absolutely crazy to me. And I look back on all of it and I am saddened, stunned, don't know where to go from here. I don't know what to say or do. I'm the type of person that I want to fix everything and I want it all to be better. And there's not a way. There's not a way right now that I've seen, and it's troublesome. It's sad. I feel bad for the alleged victim, that she thought that this was her way of making it in life. I really hope that she gets herself together before her life does actually end. I hope that she finds it in her heart to come clean and get some of that off of her chest. The damage has already been done, but I really hope that is something that happens. I really hope that our people in West Texas just start to realize that you can't just be a racist person on a Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday go on with life as normal, because for that Thursday, somebody else's life changed forever. and it affected so many people, a family, an entire community. And what is right, and what is wrong, and that is very sad that we got it so wrong here and so quickly. It just astonishes me. I was in Dallas last week, and I took that video of the Martin Luther King tribute wall, and it was just one of his many, many amazing speeches and little taglines. But it said, "Until the waters of justice flow like tears of righteousness from heaven." And that was it. Until it flows. I mean, it astonishes me. It's something that was so powerfully said in the 60s applies to somebody so loved here in West Texas. So when I said this was a very gross misuse of the MeToo movement, I meant it. And so there are plenty of women out there that are victims that we may never see their face. We may never hear their name. I hope that this does not discourage anybody that's truly a victim from coming forward. But just because there's me too, there's also him also. And that's why I wanted to say him also, because it takes some really powerful women standing up, and it takes a few really powerful men to say, this is wrong, this is right, we're not all this way. And Dr. Syed, I know, is one of those men. I've known him for well over 7 years now, and he's never once been anything but caring, professional, and this is a travesty. Well, I don't know why any of this happens. A lot of us in life find ourselves questioning so many things, and then this is another one of those questions. I don't know why this happened. I know that everything does happen for a reason, and that reason hasn't been revealed to us yet. But after this, you and your mother and your family, and especially Dr. Syed, will truly know why God put a rainbow in the clouds. Because after every storm, after it's really been bad, after every possible thing has just been chaotic and thrown around, just like a thunderstorm or a tornado where you have absolutely no control, there's always a rainbow in the clouds to show somebody's still watching, somebody's still there. There's a reason, and it's going to be okay. So somehow, some way, you all will get to see that rainbow. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day. And this can only happen to somebody that's strong enough to bend and not break. Well, in the hearts of the alleged victim and all of us, we know that he is not a sex offender. And we know that he is not a felon. And we know that he is a great doctor. You don't go back to somebody if they're mediocre.